And joining us now from Zapozizhzhia is France 24's Gwendoline Debono. Gwendoline, we were just watching your report there. What can you tell us about what's happening on the front lines? It appears that this counteroffensive is actually moving slower than initially expected.
Yes, and the report gives an idea of why. The village of Blaudatne that you've just seen was the first line of Russian defense, and certainly not the main one, with 10 kilometers away. So now the village has been retaken. The Russian forces are doing attrition. Yes, the village is under Ukrainian control, but there is a constant shelling, and it's not a place where you can find tons of basement to hide. So holding this village for the Ukrainian forces has been staying and being vulnerable, and the Russian army's goal is to cause as much as they can casualties to Ukrainian army and as many as equipment loss as possible before Ukrainian forces reach their main line of defense. Ukrainians on their side still have to prepare the ground to launch small attacks along this 1,000 kilometers front line to understand how the Russian defense is organized, and then they can decide about launching a bigger attack with mechanized brigades. And Ukrainian forces have to preserve Western equipment because not all of it can be replaced, and above all, they have to protect their troops because Ukrainian forces are here as well outnumbered by Russian forces.
Gwendoline, we saw in your report how difficult this has been for the Ukrainian forces. How is morale among the Ukrainian troops?
Well, Ukrainian soldiers on position are really focused and act with a lot of determination. All soldiers on the front line tell you that they are more motivated than the enemy for a very obvious reason. They are fighting in an existential war. But obviously, the longer the war goes on, the more comrades and loved ones are lost. And you can see that as well with this Sergeant Onistrat. When we met him, he just buried his 21-year-old son who serves in the same brigade. Yet he continued to command. He doesn't want to stop. But he mentioned a really important point is that there is no longer the same enthusiasm for joining the army. And after a year and 4 months of war, you no longer have queue of volunteers, especially in a big city, to join the fight. And that's something very hard to see for the soldiers who are standing on the front line.
Okay, Gwendoline Debono reporting for us from Zapozizhzhia. Gwendoline, thanks so much.